Today is Kentucky Refugee Day at the state capitol. And what do you hope people will come away from?
Well, I will begin my talk very shortly in saying that I am a Kentuckian, and I will end my talk saying we are Kentuckians, and we're at our best when we come together united, bringing the gifts and facing complex problems.
Well, as you know, there's a new exhibit at Western Kentucky University about the Bosnian experience at Bowling Green. And why do you think it's important for museums and cultural heritage organizations to examine issues like immigration today?
Well, first of all, from the viewpoint of culture. I mean, we are a nation, and in fact, we are a world that is experiencing more and more immigration. The United States of America, of course, has as its foundation people who have come from virtually every continent in our world to form the culture that we call the American culture. And it's not a coincidence that we're often called the melting pot. To be able to tell that story is, I think, a very important thing, first of all, for our own cultural appreciation, but also we learn lessons from the past that help us make good decisions, especially humanitarian decisions in the present.
I'm here with Brent Bjorkman, who is the director of the Kentucky Museum and the Kentucky Folklife Program here at Western Kentucky University. And Brent, there's a new exhibit here at the Kentucky Museum.
A Culture Carried, Bosnians in Bowling Green is the exhibit. It's a year-long exhibit. How it started was, being a folklorist, you know, I'm very curious about different elements of my community, and got to know a young man who really told me that nearly 10% of Bowling Green is Bosnian. And we got together and we started to do interviews with them, and that led us into more interviews with the larger community, some of the older folks, some of their parents, some of the business leaders, just some of the people in the Bosnian community. And we wanted to be able to have that just as a record, to be able to validate and add to the story. You know, if you're a Kentuckian, whether your family's been here for 2 weeks or 200 years, we're all Kentuckians, and we bring very intimate details about life and how we operate in life, things we hold dear to us, traditions that tell the rest of the world who we are and what we care about. And that's really the main thing that a folklorist does, but when you concentrate on a community, it's this rich thing, and you have these community partners like these young people who got so engaged in the process and felt very proud and prideful, as we did, being able to do this project. So it started as an oral history project.
So when this exhibit opened, what was the reaction from the Bosnian community members who came here and toured it?
I think as a more newly arrived group, you're always a little apprehensive about what people think of you, and there's elements of, if you have a different religion than the main religion in a community, that's also a hindrance. So I'm hoping all this larger story that we're telling here through the Oral History Project and with this exhibit that's going to be here through June 30th of this year, that we can be more thoughtful and more inclusive.
So what has it told you about Bowling Green as a community? You know, doing the research and doing the interviews, what have you really learned about Bowling Green as a whole in terms of what type of community it is? I
hope when they come to this exhibit, they get a little closer, because it's hard to share your culture that deeply with people who are maybe your day-to-day colleagues at work. And if they can get an understanding, maybe they can learn a few words of Bosnian, they can have a point of conversation now, and maybe this is going to help them become a little deeply connected to, in this instance, the Bosnian community.
This is a wonderful exhibit, and there's some interactives here too. And I noticed in coming in, there's a spot where people can donate backpacks.
Yes.
So can you tell people a little bit about what that means and what
Sure.
it pertains to?
Yeah, in 1995, there was a genocide where Serbian troops killed in mass graves men and boys in Srebrenica. So that really made the world stage take notice, and that's really what brought the Dayton Accords to come through. A lot of the people in our community, they were very touched and personally affected. So they wanted to memorialize that. We did a Srebrenica walk in the summer, beginning in 2015. We've done that every July. Part of that was we have backpacks that we collect, much like the people that were fleeing really had one backpack on their back. In this July, after the exhibit closes, we're going to donate all those backpacks to this effort when we have our next walk. We have a companion website, very moving clips, audio clips from some of the interviews that we've done. So there's a lot of things on that website as a way to get connected before you come.
Well, it's a wonderful exhibit. I would encourage everybody to come, and it's great for adults, it's great for students, and thanks so much for having us.
Thank you, this is great.
Appreciate it.
If history is important to you, please like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share with your family and friends.